Hey Vikings faithful, Skull Nation, what's good? We're diving into some spicy Minnesota Vikings news today, and oh boy, it's a hot topic. The Vikings dropped a massive 2-year, $30 million contract on defensive tackle Javon Hargrave this offseason, and it's got fans buzzing, some with excitement, others with raised eyebrows. Is this a genius move by Kwesi Adofo-Mensah or a risky gamble on a 32-year-old coming off an injury? Buckle up, because we're breaking it all down in true Vikings style. This deal has sparked some serious debate in the Vikings community. Hargrave, a 2-time Pro Bowler, is no stranger to dominating the trenches, but his 2024 season was cut short by a torn triceps after just 3 games with the 49ers. So, why did the Vikings commit $15 million a year to a guy who's got question marks around his health? Let's unpack this move, explore what it means for our 2025 defense, and figure out if this contract is a touchdown or a fumble. Stick with me for 10 action-packed segments as we dig into Hargrave's signing, his fit with Brian Flores' defense, and whether this deal could make or break our season. Got an opinion already? Drop it in the comments below. Let's get this Vikings party started. Skull, what's the deal with Javon Hargrave's new contract, Vikings fans? The Minnesota Vikings made waves in free agency, locking in the former 49ers defensive tackle for 2 years at $30 million, with a $12.945 million signing bonus and $7.91 million cap hit in 2025. That's a hefty price for a 32-year-old who played just 3 games last year due to a torn triceps. So why are we betting big on him? Hargrave's no slouch. His 2023 season with San Francisco was a banger, earning him a Pro Bowl nod with 44 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 14 QB hits, and 7.0 sacks in 16 games. That kind of production could be a game-changer for a Vikings defensive line that ranked 28th in PFF pass rush grade last season. Pair him with Jonathan Allen and Harrison Phillips, and we might just have a fearsome front. But here's the kicker. Is $15 million a year too much for a player coming off a season-ending injury? Some analysts, like Lou Scatalia from NFL Spin Zone, called this the worst contract on our books, citing Hargrave's age and limited 2024 play. What do you think, Skull Nation? Is this a risky move or a calculated investment? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about why the Vikings went all in on Hargrave. Minnesota's defensive line has been a weak spot, especially when it comes to interior pass rush. Last season, our interior D-linemen generated just 47 pressures, the 5th fewest in the NFL. That's not going to cut it in the brutal NFC North, where we're facing beasts like the Lions and Packers. Enter Javon Hargrave, a proven veteran who's been a menace across 3 teams, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. From 2021 to 2023, he ranked in the top 4 among defensive tackles in PFF pass rush grade, pressure rate, and pass rush win rate. If he can return to that form, he's the disruptor we've been missing, collapsing pockets and making life easier for edge rushers like Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Greenid. But the injury cloud looms large. A torn triceps sidelined Hargrave for most of 2024, and at 32, some wonder if he's still got that explosive spark. Could the Vikings have snagged him for a cheaper 1-year prove-it deal? Or is this 2-year commitment a sign of confidence in his recovery? Drop your thoughts below. Let's debate this, Vikings fans. Now, let's zoom in on Hargrave's fit with Brian Flores' defense. Our defensive coordinator is a master at scheming pressure, but he's had to rely on linebackers and edge rushers to blitz because our interior line lacked punch. With Hargrave and Jonathan Allen joining Harrison Phillips, Flores now has a trio that could transform our D-line into a nightmare for quarterbacks. Hargrave's movement is unreal for a man his size. Analysts say it's like an illusion how he zips through gaps. In 2023, he racked up 40.5 sacks over 6 seasons, ranking among the top interior linemen. Imagine him drawing double teams, freeing up Van Ginkel or Greenid to feast on QBs. That's the kind of chaos that could elevate our defense from good to elite. But here's the suspense. Will Hargrave stay healthy? He's been durable most of his career, missing no more than 1 game per season until 2024's injury. If he's back to full strength, this signing could be a steal. If not, that $30 million might sting. What's your gut telling you, Skull Nation? Can Hargrave dominate in purple? Hit the comments. Let's get real about the risks. Paying $15 million a year for a 32-year-old coming off a torn triceps is no small gamble. The Vikings structured the deal smartly, though. Most of Hargrave's guaranteed money is up front, with a potential out in 2026 that carries a $10 million dead cap hit. That gives us flexibility, but it's still a bold bet. Compare that to other contracts on our roster. T.J. Hawkinson's $16.5 million a year as a tight end and Byron Murphy Jr.'s $18 million as a cornerback have raised eyebrows. But Hargrave's deal has drawn the most heat. Why? Because age and injury history make fans nervous. A torn triceps isn't as brutal as an ACL tear, but recovery at 32 isn't guaranteed. Here's where it gets juicy. Some say the Vikings could have offered a one-year deal to test Hargrave's bounce back before committing long-term. Did we overpay for a veteran past his prime? Or is Hargrave about to prove the doubters wrong? I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me if you're worried about this deal. Let's look at the big picture. Why did Kwesi Adofo-Mensah pull the trigger? The Vikings are building around rookie QB J.J. McCarthy's cheap contract, going all in to compete in 2025. With only 4 draft picks this year, free agency was the name of the game, and Hargrave was a splashy addition to bolster a defense that ranked 5th in scoring but 16th in total yards last season. Hargrave's signing wasn't just about him, it's about the ripple effect. Pairing him with Jonathan Allen, who missed half of 2024 with a torn pectoral but brings elite run-stopping and pass-rushing skills, gives us a dynamic duo. Add Harrison Phillips, one of the NFL's best run-stoppers, and our D-line is suddenly stacked. But will this trio live up to the hype? The NFC North is a gauntlet, and we face one of the toughest schedules in 2025. If Hargrave delivers 60-plus QB pressures like he did in his prime, this contract could look like a bargain. If injuries linger, though, we might regret not playing it safe. What's your take, Vikings fans? Are we building a championship D-line? Let's talk in the comments. Time to dive into Hargrave's track record. This guy's been a force since entering the NFL in 2016 as a third-round pick out of South Carolina State. Across 130 games and 115 starts, he's piled up 380 tackles, 55 tackles for loss, 45.5 sacks, 8 pass breakups, and 4 forced fumbles. That's the kind of resume that screams impact player. His 2023 season with the 49ers was a career highlight, earning his second Pro Bowl with a stat line that had offensive coordinators sweating. But 2024 was a different story. 3 games, 1 tackle for loss, and a season-ending injury. The Vikings are banking on that being a fluke, not a sign of decline. Hargrave's durability before 2024 gives hope, but the clock's ticking at 32. Here's the million-dollar question. Can Hargrave return to his Pro Bowl form? If he does, he's the missing piece for a Vikings defense aiming to dominate. If not, that $30 million could haunt us. What do you think, Skull Nation? Is Hargrave still an elite disruptor? Drop your predictions below. Let's talk about the competition for Hargrave's signature. The Vikings didn't sign him in a vacuum. Other teams were likely in the mix. His 2023 performance made him a hot commodity, and despite his injury, his track record of generating pressure, top 4 in PFF metrics from 2021 to 2023, probably had suitors lining up. That might explain why a one-year prove-it deal wasn't on the table. Minnesota's front office, led by Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and cap guru Rob Brzezinski, structured this deal to minimize risk. With a low $7.91 million cap hit in 2025 and most guarantees paid up front, they've got an escape hatch if things go south. But the pressure's on Hargrave to deliver, especially with fans and analysts watching closely. Could we have played it safer? Maybe. But in a division with QBs like Jared Goff and Jordan Love, we need interior disruption. Hargrave's signing screams ambition, but will it pay off? Vikings fans, what's your vibe on this? Are we outbidding ourselves? Or is Hargrave worth every penny? Hit the comments. Now, let's zoom out to the Vikings' 2025 outlook. This Hargrave deal is part of a broader strategy to fortify the trenches. Alongside Jonathan Allen, Ryan Kelly, and Will Fries, the Vikings are investing heavily in their lines, spending the 14th fewest cap dollars on their interior D-line despite these big signings. That's smart cap management for a team with big dreams. Brian Flores' defense thrived last year, ranking 5th in scoring defense despite a weak interior pass rush. With Hargrave and Allen, we could see an all-time efficient unit, especially if our edge rushers capitalize on the chaos up front. But it all hinges on health. Hargrave, Allen, and Fries are all coming off injuries. Here's the suspense. Will this revamped D-line propel us to the playoffs or crumble under injury concerns? The Vikings face a brutal schedule, but a dominant defense could make us contenders. What's your bold prediction for 2025, Skull Nation? Can Hargrave and company lead us to glory? Drop it in the comments. Let's get interactive, Vikings fans. Picture this. It's Week 1, 2025, and Hargrave's back in action, blowing up plays in the middle. Can you imagine him stuffing runs and chasing down QBs alongside Allen and Phillips? That's the dream scenario, but there's a flip side. What if injuries strike again? The Vikings have an out in 2026, but we need Hargrave to shine now. Some analysts are skeptical, pointing to his age and that triceps injury. Others, like PFF's Dalton Wasserman, see Hargrave as the key to fixing our interior pass rush woes. His 16.6% pass rush win rate from 2021 to 2023 is elite. Can he bring that to Minnesota? The stakes are high and the spotlight's on. So, Skull Nation, what's your verdict? Is Hargrave's contract a masterstroke or a misstep? Drop a comment with your take, and let's see who's got the hottest prediction. Are we looking at a Pro Bowl comeback or a costly gamble? Let's hear it. Alright, Vikings faithful, it's time to wrap this up. Javon Hargrave's $30 million deal is a bold move by the Minnesota Vikings, aiming to supercharge our defense for a 2025 playoff push. Whether it's a bargain or a bust depends on Hargrave's health and performance. But one thing's clear. This signing has us talking, dreaming, and maybe a little nervous. That's what being a Vikings fan is all about, right? From his Pro Bowl pedigree to the injury concerns, we've covered every angle of this blockbuster deal. With Brian Flores scheming and a stacked D-line, the potential is sky-high, but the risks are real. Skull Nation, I want to know, are you hyped for Hargrave in purple, or are you side-eyeing this contract? Share your thoughts below. If you love this deep dive into Vikings news, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for more Minnesota Vikings updates. Share this video with your fellow fans, and let's keep the Skull spirit alive. Until next time, keep bleeding purple and let's go Vikings!